Retraining Pain here. Welcome to my vlog. Well, what can I say? Yesterday I was depressed, kind of depressed after I got back from my run. It was all about the apps showing that I was 62 years old in terms of my cardio, and that I was just not feeling it and a little bit like out of sorts. And I look at the app this morning and it was an amazing surprise. There was a point in time where it showed my resting heart rate at night dropped down to like 42. To put it in perspective, my heart rate when I was in great shape was 38. So think, 12, 15 years ago, it was 38. And then to have it drop one night down to 40, I think it might have been 48, somewhere in there that it was. No, it was 42. Anyway, it was, wow, okay, it kind of got me feeling a little positive this morning. And then, of course, my, situation or my process is I'll lie in bed in the morning, and this morning I watched a little bit of YouTube. All I watch is YouTube. I don't watch mainstream media or any sort of TV or any sort of series or anything. I just like flipping through YouTube and looking at all the different stuff. And today I was looking at some of the bike rides that are out in Orange County. Someone was on, and then of course I look at the weather on our app, and the weather here locally today I think was getting up to like 12, and this next week it's all warm, and it has a 45-day schedule, and hey, the weather's not too bad. So then I start looking at Newport Beach, and the weather's great this week, and then it's starting to get a little cooler. Although it gets down to like 17, 18, there are some days that we're 15 in Newport Beach, yet you look at Los Angeles, which is only an hour away and it's not on the water, you're looking every day, it's like 19, 20, that sort of thing. So, but I'm looking at it going, okay, 15 degrees, who cares? I'm not going to be bringing any sort of, long johns or, tights that I can't go running, that I have to bundle up. So there's still good stuff there. So I watch that, I get out of bed, I go downstairs, I make my cup of coffee, take all my pills, vitamins, my creatine, then I take my cup of coffee, go back upstairs, watch a little bit more of the TV, and then, I get started, and my office is across the hallway from the bedroom, and that's where, it's get up and go. So it was one of those days for me today that was like, just so mentally draining. We're putting in some new software and everything's being changed up and everyone's learning as we're going along. And then, there's all little things that you have to do. And we're not a big company, which is the way I like it. Grew a big company, been part of a big company in the past, and we've got a nice little small company, depending on the time of day. It's anywhere from, 5 to 8 people, depending on the time of year. And I love it. The only thing with it, when it's small like that, is you don't have like an accounting department, and you don't have like, an operations manager, and you don't have all this different stuff. So that comes down to me and some of the other folks that are on there. And I'm not complaining at all. In fact, I would take this any day over the past days of having a large business and lots of employees and huge sales teams and all that sort of stuff. So, the one thing is, when you're working from your home office, though, you're always working, even at lunchtime. When, Alice brought back a chicken from Costco. She was at Costco. This was the best chicken I've ever had in my life from Costco or from anywhere. It was fall off the bone. It was really difficult because I started cutting it, and then I tried to put it back in the bag. They come with those plastic bags, and as I'm trying to put it back in the bag, it's falling apart. It was so tender. So then Alice's Christmas gift arrived late. So I had ordered this little, a flask. Okay, so we go to college games, football games, and for those who are Canadian, you don't know this. For those that are American, you do, is most often you have to have like a clear purse, and there's only certain things you can put in there, and you can't bring like booze or alcohol or anything like that. And so they'll serve beer at the games, but they don't serve, alcohol or anything like that. So we'd snuck, little bottles in before, and those little airport plane bottles of rum and things like that. So Alice is a rum drinker. So I found this flask because I was looking like, is there something that we can get that you could hide really easy? And sure enough, I find this cell phone online. It looks like a cell phone, and it holds, I guess, 3.5 ounces of booze. And you could actually pour, into this thing. It's a little flask. So at the games, or heck, we're going to Los Angeles, it costs $12 a drink just to have a shot, 12 to 16 bucks US. Who knows, maybe just bring it into the restaurants or go outside before and pour ourselves a drink, save some money. But anyway, it was a fun gag gift, and that came today, so I gave that to her. And then the day was such where my brain was just fried by the end of the day. Like I say, we're putting in new software. There's so much to do. There's, you're a one-man band sort of thing. And I have 3 things to do today: a bike ride, leg workout, and then a swim. And I just had to lay down and have a sleep, a snooze, because I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's like if you could just have like 15, 20 minutes, a snooze, it could just change your whole perspective. So I was able to do that. And then I was dreading, the workouts, and okay, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go do a swim. Then all of a sudden, Reed comes down and he's taking the truck. I didn't know he needed to take it. And we only have the one vehicle. So in a way, I'm like, oh man, I wanted to go do that, Reed. But then at the same time, I'm like, yeah, right on. I don't have to go, or I'll wait till later tonight. But the snooze did clear my head enough to get on the bike and do a bike ride. And I really didn't want to. I did not want to. If I could just lie down on the couch and watch TV all night tonight, I would have. But the one thing I know from the years of doing Ironman training is it's those days that you don't want to work out, those are the days that you need to do it. You have to do it, because those are the days that you're going to grow. And sure enough, I get on the bike, and for the first time, I have my best ride that I've had since I've been getting going, and actually found myself sweating. In the older days when I was really heavy training, I'd get off the bike, I'd be dripping and wet. And actually, I got inspired today too, because I was looking at some of the YouTube videos that I have on TV and or on my channel, and I noticed one that was called "Catching the Cyclists on My Bike," and I remember it. And it's a really poor video, very shaky. But the story behind it is a pack of cyclists went by me when I was training, and I guess I let them go quite a bit, and then I said, okay, let's reel them in. And not only did I catch up to them, and they were drafting and all that stuff, but I blew right by them. And I was like, man, I didn't realize how strong of a cyclist I was back then. I still have one King of the Mountain record out here, and I'm actually proud of it. So on Strava, for those that don't know, there's so many people that ride their bike or run, and there's certain, stretches. And Strava keeps track of who's the fastest for that stretch. And whoever the fastest is, they have King of the Mountain. And I guess a few years ago I looked and at one point I had 8 King of the Mountains, which would mean 8 segments up in the escarpment. I had the best. And every year I'll look into them, and then there was 7, then there was 6, then there was 5. I'm down to 1 King of the Mountain now. The only thing what makes me really happy about this one is normally King of the Mountains could be like 3 minutes long or 5 minutes long stretches, but this one was a 58-minute long stretch. So I still have that record, and it's by 1 second. So and the second place guy is 1 second behind me, like 58 something, 1 second. The other guy's 1 second behind him. So that was since 2013 when I started using Strava. And I actually wish that I would have been on Strava in 2009, 2010, because however good I was in 2013, I was I won't say way better, but I was much better. I was in my prime in 2009, 2010. So anyway, it was cool watching that video. Point being, I got on the bike tonight and I didn't want to bike. And I had the best ride. In fact, I think I averaged over 150 watts. A lot of hills. I was starting to sweat. I had a bit of a pool of sweat going underneath the bike, which is exactly, how it used to be. And it just shows you it's those times, when it's the darkest, there's also can be a bit of the lightest. So I'm waiting now to see if Reed is going to be back with the truck. If not, it's not all for lost. There is audibles that you got to pick, which means that today, which would have been my heaviest day, would be tomorrow, which would be a run bike. So you can always adjust things a day or so, even if you have a few workouts today or in one day and you miss 2 of them for that day, you can still make up for them the following day. You can't make up for them a week from now, but if they're within that range. And then as I'm riding my bike, I'm looking down at, I've got these parts and, seats, bike seats and all this other sort of cycling stuff that I want to put on Facebook Marketplace. But I guess Alice wants me to get rid of it. Obviously, it's a mess. I don't blame her. And now I'm thinking, well, it's a little too late with us leaving in a week. So anyway, that's it for me. Have a good one. Retraining Pain. Until next time, over and out.